were the guys who had the fields, right? Uh, but, you know, why my ancestors converted, what were the reasons? It could have been force, it could have been coercion, could have been torture, or maybe they chose it. I don't know. But what I do know was that I was born in the Christian faith. And what I learned from my mother in particular, because my mother is a very devout Catholic woman who's brought me up in this very Indic value system. I wouldn't even call it a Western value system, but a very Indic value system. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So, because I come from Goa, because I have a Christian name, and because I have some connects to Portugal, okay, when I was growing up, and because I lived abroad, I would consider myself to be a foreigner. And I detested everything that was Indian. So when I would come here on holidays, the first time I came to Goa when I was very young, I was like, this is a ghost village. I'm not going to stay here for more than 2, 3 days, you know. That was my reaction. Because in the olden days in Goa, you used to have the lavatory outside, and then there would be these pigs that were supposed to take care of your lavatory requirements, right? So I had a crazy experience with that, and that frightened me a lot. So I didn't, you know, there was a snot that came out of from somewhere, and I was screaming and I was running naked around in the home of my ancestors, and everybody was laughing at me. So that stayed in my head. So I was like, I'm not coming to this ghost-like village, you know. And when I would come to Bombay, and you know, we stayed in Andheri, we were very close to the Marol pipeline, you know, so the pipelines have water, and then there are some pipelines that have a lot of crap on it because there were not much toilet facilities there, you know. So that their toilet was also a prem katha at that point of time, right? So for me, everywhere it was all about dirt. It was about people. I wore a Nike shoe that time, and I never wanted to remove my shoe when I went to somebody's home because I thought somebody would rob my shoes. You know, so my idea of India was that of strange people. You know, fighting, dirty, all that, and I never wanted to come back here. But in one of my holidays in when I was 9 years of age, my grandfather, who's very wise, no longer with us, and I'm sure when he's looking at me now, he's like completely amused by what I'm doing, said, "Come here, son, I want to tell you something." I said, "What?" So he says, "You know, you might make fun of India right now. You might consider yourself to be a foreigner. That's okay. But there will come a time in life when Mother India will call you, and you will drop everything and you will come back to India." So way back in 2000, 1999, 2000, most of my family members in Dubai and friends in Dubai were migrating to Canada. I had a choice as well, but I chose not to. If you ask me why you did it, I still don't know. You know, but I came into India, and it's been a fabulous ride. You know, the very thing I used to detest is the very thing I love, and I don't even know why. I just love it right now, you know. And it's not because I'm in politics, it's not because I had a media company, it's just this inner belief that to me, Bharat Mata is more important than any other thing in this world. Right? So when I started raising the issues, and we used to run Goa Chronicle for the last 12 years, but we were not nationally recognized as a publication, online publication. But there was a time, what happened in 2018, when Archbishop Anil Kuto made a statement, and a lot of the people within the Christian community, very learned people, supported that statement and said, you know, yes, the democracy in danger, Christians are in danger. And I'm a person of numbers and facts, so I went and did a little research and said, you know, what is the real atrocities towards the Christian community. Let me look into it. And then I found out that the numbers did not correspond to the population of the Christian community. These were numbers, for example, let me give you an example. In 2021, a Christian organization called the United Christian Forum, a report that was carried by many publications, even international publications, there were 348 cases of religious conflicts in the Christian community or atrocities against Christians. But for that same corresponding year, the population of the Christians in India was 3.12 crore. So you have 348 cases of atrocities and 312 crore people. Does that mean all the Christians are in danger in India? Now let me give you another figure. In US in 2021, there were 953 cases of atrocities against the Jews. In UK, there were roughly about 1,600 atrocities against the Jews. In Canada, there was another 200 or 300 atrocity cases. So does that make Joe Biden Hitler? Does that make the ruler of UK Hitler? Right? Why is it that nobody is talking about the atrocities of the Jews there? It's much more than the atrocities happening here. Right? So the fear psychosis, and why I say it's important for us to understand what is happening in the country and why I decided to open my mouth. Normally I let my writing do the talking, but this time I decided to take the words from the writing into my mouth and say, let's talk. Okay? Because I think we live in a civilized society, and the very principle of Sanatan Dharma is an ability to understand different points of view. My religion is not my nationalism. My religion is my personal space, it is my family space, it is my community space. And that religion is my choice. It's not anybody else's choice. Right? So when I stand up and I say I'm an Indian first and a Christian second, I mean that. Today, if I have to go against my country because of my religion, because of certain sections of the community that see the current government, which is a government I support, in a negative light, I will not do that. Why? It's not because of the government. It is because of India itself. As a Christian, Bharat is my mother as well. As a Christian, this is my country as well. And it is my sworn duty that while I protect the rights of the Christian, is to protect the rights of my Hindu brothers and sisters as well. Because the very genesis of the hate in the country right now is the demonizing of the Sanatan Dharma principles of Bharat Mata itself. That is the hate. Everywhere you go, every media, whether international or locally, is only focusing on the evils that exist in the Hindu community, is only focusing on the evils that they presume are a part of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is not about hate. In fact, I started to understand Sanatan Dharma because of my Christian faith. Let me explain what I mean by that. There is the religion, which is the teachings, and then there is the institution. The institution in a place like Goa, because of the Inquisition, because of the need for proselytization, has failed when it decided to convert people, when it decided to unleash the Goa Inquisition. That was done by the Catholic Church as an institution. An institution what some people followed orders of and some people continue to believe was the right thing to do. But does that mean that the belief of a common man who believes in that faith for reasons he doesn't know, maybe he's born into it, is that man wrong? So when I raised this issue, one of the senior leaders in the church asked me, the issues that you're raising, whether it was the Bishop Franco Mulakal's rape case, whether it's other issues of corruption within the Catholic Church, they wanted to sit me down and tell me that these are issues within the church, you should not be making it public. So I asked them, if a minister, for example, or an MP was involved in an alleged crime of rape, as a journalist, what would you want me to do? The senior leader of the church said, of course, you have to write about it. I said, then what is the wrong that I'm doing now? The government is an institution. The church is an institution. Have I in any way attacked the faith? Who am I to judge the faith? I am no one to judge a person's faith. Today, a person puts a stone and believes that that stone is God. But he, with his own work, with his own sacrifices, leads a life of a good person. Would that mean that his God is wrong? No. So when I was discussing this with another priest, he said, so I asked him, I said, you have John. John is a person who goes to church every Sunday. Without fail. He goes to church, he's seen in church. But after he comes out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, he's an alcoholic, he's a womanizer, he beats his wife, he abuses his children. That is John to you. Now there is Ram. Ram never visits the temple at all. Maybe once in a year, maybe. He's not a temple guy. He doesn't do the temple run at all. Right? But he never beats his wife. He works hard so that his children have a good education. He does not drink or smoke or sleep with other women. So please tell me, Father, between John and Ram, who, according to Jesus, should be in heaven? Because if you're telling me John has to be in heaven, then I don't believe in that Jesus. Right? So the role of the Indian Christian today is not about religion. The role of the Indian Christian today is, what is my responsibility in the nation? Christians over a long period of time have contributed immensely to India. There are good people within the army, doctors, lawyers, educationists, and you do have some in politics as well. But when we start creating this aura of hate, when they start feeling persecuted for reasons not known to them, for misinformation, for this really horrible university called WhatsApp University. I think you should never send your children to WhatsApp University, including the adults. Don't take your future courses at WhatsApp University. You don't get the right information. They are only led to believe that this government, the RSS, and every other Hindu organization is against them. And that's not the truth. You will always have conflict when you look at things from the basis of religion. Last year, I did a course with an international university on religion, conflict, and peace. If I take the name of the university, people will start saying, oh my God, this is a controversial university because everybody uses its name nowadays. So I'm not going to name it. But the point is, I studied about 50 different conflicts in different parts of the world. And you know what's the root of every conflict? Religion. Christians fighting Muslims, Christians fighting Christians, Muslims fighting Muslims. And in India, because there was a chapter on India and the Babri Masjid as well, we have Muslims and Christians supposedly fighting the Hindus. But that's only at an intellectual level, at a media level, at a ground level, right down on the dharti of Bharat Mata. No Indian, whether he's Christian, whether he's Hindu or Muslim, is conflicting with each other. Do you conflict? Are you in conflict with me? I'm a Christian. Are you? Are you going to take a sword and chop me? No. Not here. Maybe outside. Not this crowd. So extremisms exist in every religion. But the percentage of extremism is limited by the number of sane people in the religious groups. Like I have been a voice against Islamic radicalism. Does that mean the Muslims are bad? The Indian Muslims are bad? No. The Islamic radicals are a danger to India. Same as those conversion pastors are a danger to India. You don't need to demonize Sanatan Dharma to preach your message of good news. And that's what religions are doing. So people ask me, are you against conversion? Of course I'm against conversion. I'm also against reconversion. I'm against the idea of making God a commodity, where Sanatan Dharma is not about a God in an institution. Sanatan Dharma is about a God within you and around you. What is your first experience of God? If not your parents, if not your family, is there any other manifestation of God? So today, for an Indian Christian who believes that Jesus is his route of salvation, might differ from the Muslim, might differ from a Sikh, might differ from an Hindu. Is he the bad person? Just because his ancestors converted? Is he the rice bag? Today, even after working, even after risking my life on several issues that I have raised for this country, you still have absolute morons on social media who call me a rice bag. Who gave you that right? Who gave you that right to call a Christian a rice bag? Do you even know why he was persecuted? Do you even want to understand why they are converting? The hate that you propagate is the hate you will always get back. And Sanatan Dharma is not about hate. It is about being holistic in the approach towards humanism more than anything else. I am not saying we should not stand up for what is wrong. I am saying we should. Should we go after the conversion mafia? Yes. But what are the reasons those people are converting? For 70 years, why has conversion mafia gone after the poorest of the poor? Because they are the most vulnerable. Because they are the ones who what is it that they want? Roti, kapda, makan, education. Where our system failed as a government to provide for them, that is where we made inroads for other religions to penetrate. I'll give you a case, somewhere in Tamil Nadu only. This group of villagers converted to Islam. I think they didn't get. Then they converted to Christianity. There also they didn't get much benefit. Then they decided to convert back. to being Hindus. Today, if I were to go to a poor person, offer him education, health care, jobs, provide his kids education abroad, and I've taken care of him, don't I become, by our own Indian Sanskriti, a god to him? And that's exactly what is happening. Therefore, we have to sensitize the issue. There is a lot of conflict, and yes, there is a lot of anger inside the Hindus, and I understand that anger. I have that anger too, which is why I stand up. Because when you insult the Hindu, you insult the majority of children of Bharat Mata. That is why I stand with you. Because my roots, whether I'm a Christian by faith, my roots are Vedic, my roots are Hindu. How can I deny my roots? Denying my roots is denying my ancestry. Denying my roots is denying my connect with this very land. And I love this land. I love what it stands for. I love what it represents. As an Indian Christian, let me tell you, I am proud to belong to India. I am proud because there is no nation that is so truly secular as India. Because to be secular does not mean to accept all religions. To be secular means to accept no religion in matters of governance, and we are moving in that direction. Where the government does not have to do anything to you because you belong to a particular religion. It has to do it for you because you are a citizen of the country. Today, I go to every festival. I remember I went to Ganga for a snan, and it was a mind-blowing experience. So I put the vibhuti on my head and I posted it on social media. So I had a pastor say to me, "You and your family will be cursed by Jesus for generations for what you have done." I replied back to him and I said, "I don't know which Jesus you are talking about, but the Jesus I know has told me you've done a pretty decent job. You're spreading love, right?" Because really the two commandments of Jesus in the whole Bible that really makes any sense to me. I mean, I'm sure there are many other things in it, and I've read the Bible many times. I'm also a student of religion, of different religions. So I can tell you with some little bit of authority that the two commandments of Jesus, which was love God with all your heart and your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself, is the governing principles of Christianity. And how is it different from the very principles of Sanatana Dharma? Everything else can be pulled out. You can pontificate about it. You can say this is right, this is wrong. Christians will pull it out of the Islamic books. Islamic guys will pull it out of the Hindu books, and we will all fight about it. And I'm saying at the bane level of every religion is what? The basis of every religion is what? That the idea of God and his communication with his creation, which is humanity, right? So religion is really a path that brings you to the door of spirituality. Problem is, we keep going around thinking it's a roundabout, so we don't open the door of spirituality. Sanatana Dharma is that spirituality. Therefore, when I decided to speak on this topic, divided by faith, united by culture, the truth is, it is culturally what we are united as Indians, as sons and daughters of Bharat Mata. Why do I say that? Whenever I leave my home, I take blessings from my parents. Whenever my children leave their home, they take blessings from us. You think that's a Western culture?
Indian culture,
It is completely a Vedic Hindu culture. We are Hindustans, are we not? So what's there to be shy about it? This country is known as Hindustan. So today, our roots are Vedic, our roots are within this Hindu culture. I mean, Kamal Hassan doesn't think Cholas were a part of the Hindu culture, but that's Kamal Hassan being Kamal Hassan, and it's like Kamal Hassan is still an ape while all of us have become humans. That's the analogy of Kamal Hassan's thought. But he's entitled to it. And that's the beauty of our culture, is that we listen to all sorts of rubbish. Right? We don't get enamored or aroused by it. But what's happening across the country in certain sections, okay, is an attempt to break this really principled stand of Sanatan Dharma. And how do you break a principled stand of Sanatan Dharma? Is by putting doubts into the minds of the Indian citizen that religion is his only prerogative to look at every situation. Put on your glass of religion and see. That's when everything gets blurred. So my honest submission to you in all humility is, please, for God's sake, because that's really what religion is all about, for God's sake, take off your glasses that blind you to religion and look at the core essence of the religion itself, which is the creation of God, which is humanity, which is nature. And most of all, because we are born in this beautiful land of Sanatan Dharma, your responsibility, your duty is to Bharat Mata. Bharat Mata ki jai. Thank you very much.